Thank you for watching this preview video at xm.com. We'll be discussing the upcoming ECB meeting and the outlook for the euro. I'm Maria Pachordeves, and joining me is lead investment analyst Rafi Boyadjian. So Rafi, compared to 2022, 2023 was a more successful year for the ECB regarding the progress that was made on bringing inflation down. Can you tell us about the state of inflation in the euro area today and what policymakers are concerned about leading up to the ECB decision this Thursday? Is the Eurozone on the verge of recession?
Well, Maria, that is right what you said about inflation, because, of course, 2023, the ECB did make some very good progress in bringing inflation way down from its highs from 2022. However, at the end of 2023, we did see inflation starting to edge up again, and we may see that trend continue in the early parts of 2024, mainly because the base effect from when we first started to see energy prices decline, those are now drop out of the calculations. Also, we did see many Eurozone states introduce energy subsidies at the height of the Ukraine-Russia war. So those subsidies are now being phased out. So all of that might push up headline inflation. But it's not just about that. So although there's a good chance that inflation will then resume its downfall, the ECB is worried about a number of things, particularly what's happening at the moment in the Middle East. So the Red Sea crisis does pose a significant threat in terms of not just, say, should the situation escalate, that would push up oil prices, but also it could spark a supply side shock. We're already seeing a lot of shipments being rerouted across the Horn of Africa, which does really increase the cost of imported goods into Europe. So if that doesn't prove to be a short-term thing, then that could have consequences in terms of pushing up prices across multiple goods in the Eurozone. But there's another thing that Lagarde mentioned when she was speaking in Davos last week. I think this is something that she has referred to previously as well, is that wage growth has yet to peak in the Eurozone. So we don't really talk about a tight labor market or wage pressures in the Eurozone, but like in many other places, so it's a global phenomenon that we do have labor shortages in certain sectors, and so this is true for the Eurozone as well. So Lagarde wants to see some clear signs that wage growth has peaked and it's starting to moderate before being in a position to consider rate cuts. But of course, all of this comes against slowing growth in the Eurozone. So that's one of the reasons why the markets are kind of so heavily pricing in rate cuts, because the Eurozone is at risk of recession, even though ECB officials so far are kind of not focusing so much on growth, they're focusing more on inflation. But nevertheless, we do have the flash PMIs coming up on Wednesday, so this will be important to see whether or not we are starting to see any upturn at all in Eurozone business activity, or whether we should expect more pain for the European economy.
Turning to the euro now, what reaction can we expect after the meeting? Do you think the single currency will continue its uptrend?
Well, the euro is at the moment flirting with its trend line, so it really is at risk of breaching that uptrend line. It's questionable whether or not there's going to be much of a boost from the ECB meeting, because, of course, we heard a number of officials in Davos last week. They were pretty hawkish. Some were less hawkish, but overall it was a hawkish tone. But that actually did more damage to the euro than lifting it at all. And I mean, it's possible that in a press conference, President Lagarde might try to once again attempt to rein in those sort of aggressive market bets of multiple rate cuts this year. Should she succeed in convincing the markets, that might provide a bit of a boost for the euro. The PMIs also do have the potential, should we get any upside surprise, of lifting the single currency. On the whole, though, it's really hard to see whether the ECB meeting is going to bring anything new to the table, given we heard from so many speakers last week. So it might be now going forward a bit of a wait-and-see game until the March meeting, where we're going to get a new set of projections, and that might be more significant for the euro. And of course, the incoming data until then in terms of the PMIs and also the further CPI reports. So I think until then, the euro, any reaction might be short-lived, and the euro might probably struggle a bit against the US dollar. But of course, we also have the Fed meeting coming up soon as well, so that's also going to be important in terms of deciding the euro's direction.
Ravi, thanks so much. This was a preview video here at XM.com.